I'm calling this Topiaries for non-topiary people. Hi everyone, I'm Erin the Impatient Gardener. I live and garden in southeastern Wisconsin, zone 6A, maybe 5B, somewhere in there. None of which matters today because we are working on inside projects. So I'm thinking of this as a holiday project because I actually think this is a great gift idea. I'm thinking teacher gifts. I'm thinking give it to the person who has everything. I actually think this could be a really good gift for foodies who really love to cook. Anyway, basically we're going to take some rosemaries and we're going to turn them into something like this. So in the manner of TV magic, I have already done one of these, and I've taken this rosemary plant, pretty substantial rosemary plant, looked something like this one when I started, and I've turned this one into a tree. And let's be honest, a tree is a very easy form to put these in. By the way, you can get rosemary plants in a lot of places at this time of the year. I saw them at Trader Joe's that are actually kind of in a tree form already, but what fun is that? I saw them in another garden center. I think you can probably pick them up at the grocery store a lot of time. I actually ordered mine from Southern Living Plants, but you can pick them up everywhere. All right, so I've got two other ones to do. This was sort of my tester / example one, so you could see what that looks like. Let's get into the other ones. So this one looks real sad, and we're gonna make it happy again. I actually thought that, hey, one thing about rosemary plants inside is that they're actually not the easiest plant in the world, because you know what? They want more water than you think they do. They want that soil to be moist. I think of rosemary as a Mediterranean herb, so I tend to think of moist, really well-draining soil. And they want that inside too, but what they really want is the moist thing, because the air in our houses is so dry this time of year, and that is not really conducive to rosemary. So keep watering them. And I actually thought I had overwatered this one, but now that I see it, it appears to be planted with the root. Like, I think when this got potted up into the next size, this didn't get properly planted. So you can see it's a little sad. Well, it doesn't matter if it's sad because we're going to cut a lot of this off anyway, and then we're going to repot this so it'll all get taken care of then. So don't pay attention to the sad looking one. But you can see that these are kind of askew. Anyway, I call this topiaries for non-topiary people because this is going to be easy topiary. Very doable for you, kids, whoever needs to do this, but you don't need to be an expert at all to take this project on. So one of these is going to become the partner for this one, so that I have two of these trees, either to flank the window or more likely to sit on the kitchen table. The other one's going to be some other shape than that. I think we're going to do the tree form on this one, and that is by far the easiest one to do. By the way, perhaps I was the last person to know this, but these are plant coasters. And they're plastic on the bottom and cork on top. And this will soak in a little bit of water. So if you have a plant that either has a saucer that's not sealed, or you have a plant that's just dripping a little bit and you don't need like a full saucer underneath it, you can use this to protect your furniture, which I did not do on this table, so I have like a moldy water stain on it. The one nice thing about having a really beat up table is that it doesn't matter what happens to it. All right, so anyway, those are pretty cool. All right, so I found that this sort of mini version of a secateurs, this is from Milwaukee, and I'll have to look up the exact one for it. I found that this works really well. It's smaller than a regular secateurs. I think you could also use the scissors for this. I don't think it matters. And I do think what I need to do here is like, oh yeah, the seat, no wonder. It's like not even in there. What happened? Did it fall over somewhere? Maybe it fell over when I got it. Okay, so I have it standing upright. So you probably didn't need a YouTube video to tell you that you just start cutting. Obviously, cut less at first. By the way, you can save all these rosemary clippings. I did with the other one, and what I did was I washed them really well, and then I just dried them. And I dried them actually in the oven. You could also air dry them. Because it was little schnibbles, I dried them in the oven because they weren't enough that I could actually hang them. Okay. You get the idea. It's not rocket science. Okay, now let's play around with this guy right here. None of these has a single stem, so I can't do like a single lollipop, but I can. I'm gonna clean this up here. So I'm thinking about doing some sort of like powder pom kind of thing here. So I'm trying to see like which branches collectively come together nicely, and this seems to be a good grouping here. What's the worst that can happen? I have more rosemary. So I'm kind of trying to separate them with my hands so that I can see what's going on. So you can see I've got this little guy here. And I think we need to like, I think the goal is going to be to make sure I keep my groups separate so it actually reads like a topiary and not just like a rosemary that had a bad accident. Okay, I think it's getting worse. I think this just looks like a rosemary that someone has eaten all of it off of. Oh my God, I kind of did a horrible thing to this poor plant. I'm not sure it's getting any better. Look at all the rosemary I have though. Let me put these in different pots. They'll look much better when they're in nice pots. All right, here we are all potted up in pretty pots. Now, I had to buy these pots for this project, and I don't know if this happens to you guys, but I have the worst ability to envision the size of things unless I'm looking right at it. And these pots came a full size, not two, bigger than I thought I was going to get, but it's fine. They're beautiful little pots, and I'll be able to use them for all sorts of other things. So this guy is still a little, I would say, just a touch fat compared to this one. So you can keep pruning away on this as much as you want, but you get the idea of what this looks like. I have seen these decorated with little Christmas ornaments, but I think if we're thinking about gifts for grandparents or gifts for teachers, I think you go get an inexpensive terracotta pot and you have your kid paint it in a cute way or add a little bit of decoration to it or just tie a bow around it, whatever. But I think this is a pretty nice, but despite the fact that I feel like the pot's just a touch too big and this one is still a little sad looking, I actually think they look really nice. But now let's take a look at that really sad guy who, let's be honest, I butchered a little bit. If you have to have the ugly one, you get the prettiest pot. And so this is a beautiful Wakefield handmade pot that I had that I love. And I did have to knock quite a bit of soil off the roots, but you know what? It wasn't that hard to do. It was quite loose on there. So we're just going to start with our little creation here. And I think as this grows, these little pom-poms will make a little bit more sense. But I will admit, it's maybe not the prettiest thing in the world right now. That said, I still think it's more interesting than just a plain old rosemary plant. But in this case, I would say the pot would be the present that you're really giving, and then they get the bonus of a kind of creatively pruned rosemary. So I guess what I'm trying to get at here is that you should feel free to go buy a rosemary and prune it into weird shapes, then give it to someone as a gift or enjoy it in your own home because it's fun to do and it's winter. All right, have a great day in your garden, you guys. Hope you at least laughed a little. See you soon. Bye-bye. And if you've made it this far in the video, congratulations and thank you for hanging in there. Please consider giving this video a like and subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. Check below the video to make sure you are subscribed because sometimes my videos will show up in your feed even if you're not subscribed, which is great, but I'd love to have you as a subscriber. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Bye-bye.